One time for your mind, everybody checking in. It's 9 o'clock on the dot, maybe a few minutes prior to. Great conversation scheduled for tonight. We're talking men under construction, building bridges of respect, relationship, and legacy, y'all. Come on, man. What better of a conversation to have? Putting some on your head before you go to bed. We got to pay a couple bills. Want to give a shout out to the R&B Ribs and Rose Barbecue Competition and Block Party. That is August 12th. Hattiesburg, Mississippi, happening right outside of Fairleys. That's downtown Hattiesburg. You can go to the website, or you can hit up the Nasty Show, Cujo, or the Nasty Show, or the Cujo and Nasty Show, however you want to do it. It's the R&B Ribs and Rose Barbecue Competition and Block Party, brought to you by Corbell California Champagne. We sipping rose and eating ribs. How much better can it get? And you know we always got to represent for Chapter 4 by Chef Doug Chase in New Orleans, Louisiana. If you're ever in New Orleans, make sure you go around there and tell them we sent you. You can ask for the nightcap. They'll hook you up. I promise you. Now, but buddy, if you in Jacktown, go ahead and buy Hemp World South and Therapeutic Lounge. Get you one of them slushes. I'm telling you, best slushes in the metro area and quite possibly the best slushes in the state, ladies and gentlemen. This is Nightcap Knowledge. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it. We got to wish a happy birthday to Tanya Boy Candy. We'll do it again when she comes on, but our co-host Tanya is celebrating her birthday. We ain't going to tell y'all how old she ain't, but we might tell you how old she is. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Nightcap Knowledge. Where you at, Mac? Where you at? Come on, give me the symbol. There you go. I got the symbol. I got the symbol, boy. Got the symbol. Go ahead and unmute yourself, man. Go ahead and hit it for me, man. Go ahead and do your thing.
Hey, man. I was trying to get that Tim Boyd face. I couldn't get it. I was trying to get that funk face, but I couldn't get it. So, you know, we do things a little bit different here. For those who have not tuned in, understanding what we were doing, this is the Nightcap Knowledge Podcast. This show is rated Black and uncensored, real talk, real issues, and real solutions. And we're going to tell it like it T.I. is. And I got my special hat on. I said I'm going to bring something back, represent one of our people that helped get us, help put us on back in the day. I'm going to reach way back here there, Chuck. Get some of this gentleman Jack, that's all. And I got a little bit of lemonade in my glass.
Hey, that's how I like to drink it.
A Lynchburg lemonade, that's
There you go. That's an easy recipe, ladies and gentlemen. You got the twice mellow gentleman Jack with a little bit of the Simply lemonade, or you can make your own lemonade with a little simple syrup at the house. Get in the rock glass, swirl it around. You got a quite nice beverage.
Look at my glass.
Lincoln Legged Obama. Oh, look at that. Cheers to Tougaloo, baby. Cheers to Tougaloo.
Cheers to the Lou. Chuck, Talk to us, man. You know, we got to get ready to get this thing going. We got a we got a jam packed show. We about to have almost a Tougaloo alumni reunion in this thing.
And speaking of the Tougaloo Alumni Reunion, man, we will be kicking some things out, making some announcements about October 13th, 14th, 15th. All of the alumni activities will be taking place, of course, at the Village Kitchen inside of the Tougaloo community because, you know, that's how we represent, man. You know, we got everything that we need now. We've been working a long time to get all of these different items and these different types of businesses and services where we can operate right there. Once you know go under the bridge now, buddy, we got everything you want. So it'll all be going down at the Village Kitchen, and you can expect to see more events on Eventbrite. And of course, we got the tailgate. You can't go wrong with the tailgate. Just make sure you can try to beat me there to get the spot, but I'm gonna have my spot already staked out. Like I got that VIP spot. I don't know about you. I don't know about you, Mac. You got the VIP spot?
Hey, man, you know, I'm right there with you. If you on this side, if you on the left, I'm on the right. We're gonna have this thing set up. We're gonna be ready there to make sure we continue to provide great service and hold to high esteem the Tougaloo alumni and the tradition of understanding Dr. Robert Smith. School is 50% education, 50% socialization, and we create relationships that had lasted a lifetime. And we're gonna continue to do that. That's what Tougaloo is all about. But my mental health minute um, speaks to some of the folks. You know, everybody got different titles. What they call these people that drag energy out of you, and you're trying to work to help folks. And some people that's not want to. That's not what they want to do. That's not the agenda. So I'll say mental health minute for Monday was stop planting live seed into dead soil. There are certain situations they say don't beat a dead horse. But we are trying to pour into folks, and sometimes they just want attention. They're not wanting to make a change or trying to do something about this current situation. Because once you get past talking about it, then you ask what the plan, then that's it. There's no agenda. So you know don't waste your energy. Protect your peace. Don't allow their problem to become your emergency when this is a reoccurring situation. So stop planting dead seed into um, stop planting live seed into dead soil. So,
There you go.
we,
There you go.
but we got some good soil we're gonna plant into right now, and we're gonna kick this thing off. What is the groove, Chuck?
Most definitely, man. The groove is this, and I'm about to throw it on the screen, and this will be our lead in for the rest of tonight's show. We've got something absolutely outstanding that will be happening on the college campus, our college home that we know as the Lou. 39174 zip code. Man, me and Matt got everything backwards tonight. God dog. But look, I know one thing we ain't getting backwards because I got my water in my Tougaloo cup, and I will be at Tougaloo College this weekend. We have the Black Men's Health Equity Council, and they are presenting the Mississippi Black Men Under Construction Conference. So that's Men Under Construction Conference. We got all sorts of activities and conference discussions, sessions, workshops. You got keynotes, so many things. And we'll pull up the Facebook page so we can start going through some of who the keynotes are. But what I like, I know Mac back in the day, we loved and we still like to learn. And most times you get the most learning out of the workshop. So we've got some brothers that, of course, you were able to see them on the thumbnail for tonight. We've got tonight Antron McKay. They call him Trying to Connect. And we also have Kemar Kane. And we may have one of the organizers from this Men Under Construction Conference, Brother Warren Jones, to join us later on in the broadcast. But we had to bring these brothers on tonight so that we can have a conversation around, you know, what they'll be presenting on and how it is important to the healthy makeup of a healthy Black man. So, ladies and gentlemen, bringing up first, we got Antron the Connect McKay, the proprietor and the customer service liaison of the Village Kitchen, ladies and gentlemen. Tron, welcome to the show.
Hey, appreciate you all for having me on tonight. Consider it an honor, man. Just see what we can get done tonight and see what we can teach the people, man, as usual.
Well, shoot, Tron, tell us what you'll be talking about at the men's health equity conference this Saturday at Tougaloo?
Oh, the things I'll be discussing is investing, credit, and just showing you just how to have financial literacy and understanding like what to do with your money and how to get some money. So that's gonna be a big thing of it because I realize that that's really it's a men's health thing, as we say, as far as our health. I think that's one of the biggest problems, financial problem that we have. Because at the end of the day, if we are the heads of our households, we have to make a lot of decisions with the thing that we call some money, man.
Yeah, yeah. We definitely need to make this money make some more money. Is that some of what you'll be discussing? Like if you got a little pocket change and what you should do with your pocket change, because we need to be investing our time and our resources as Max said, into good soil. So give us some little insights on what you'll be discussing on how to make this money make some money.
Okay, one of the first things we always discuss is like investing. What is investing? And then how do you get into investing? So we'll show people how to look at brokerage platforms as in Robinhood, as one of them, Fidelity or E Trade, or you can look up what it is. Oh my, well, Robinhood and E Trade and Fidelity are two or three of the biggest ones that you'll be able to use, and just learn how to get into investing and then buying stocks on the stock market. Because a lot of times I think we miss out on a lot of generational wealth because we don't understand what investing is. And a lot of us will always say, well, I ask Mac and I ask you, when we say we don't know what to invest in, my
Yeah,
first thing is if I ask you a question like, what's the number one search engine on the internet? Whenever people tell you look up something, what do they tell you to do?
Google.
Google. So we know what Google is, right? What's the number one tennis shoe that's out there that everybody wears on their feet?
What, Nike?
Nike. There we go. So you know what that is. So right, and then if I ask you what's the number one place that people buy stuff online where you want to go anywhere and buy stuff?
Amazon.
So we know companies to invest in. We just don't know how to be on the other side. We know how to be the consumers of it, but we don't know how to be the owners of it. And investing in the stock market gives you the opportunity to be owners of those companies. So when those companies do well, you do well, and the generation come after you, and the future of yourself does well. So it's just like really, I'm putting, like you said, I'm planting this seed so I can enjoy those fruits when I'm 10 years down the road, 5 years, 20 years down the road. So I can have some great shade if I go ahead and plant those trees now.
Oh boy, I like. Hey, hold on, man, hold on. Let's get. Hey, he just dropped the Tron. We just gonna give him the horn on that. Let's give him some applause. He said, "If I plant the seed now, I might be able to enjoy some shade later on." I like that. We're gonna chop that up, Tron. We're gonna have him put some in the comments.
Trying to get to it, but that's really one of the biggest concerns that I've had, especially with the community. And I made it my commitment now to come out more and be more vocal and come out and be on more platforms because I do it now at the place that I'm at. The thing that I've done for my crew and for the young men that are for me is set up brokerage accounts for them when they turn 18, and then just teach them just the beginner of stocks. Because everybody knows, we ask them like another question is, what's the number one phone out that everybody has?
Yeah, it's iPhone.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
Apple is the world's largest company right now. So why wouldn't you? And you got a stock that's at $180 that's potentially go to $1,000 in the next 10 years, and you tend to miss out on those things because we'll pay $1,500 or $1,000 for an iPhone, but we won't pay $500 or $800 to invest in our future. And so seeing that now and understanding and researching it is a big thing. Is how do we connect that bridge from the people that don't know and connect them with? I just want to provide you with the information. What you do with it is on you, but
Yeah.
I want to at least say you had the opportunity to gain the knowledge so you know how to do better for yourself. Whether you choose to do it is on you.
I like that, man. It reminds me of the phrase like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Or how about this one, Mac? I know you got one country ass saying that matches what we talking about right now. Come on off mute and go ahead and give us one.
I got a couple of, but I got this from Pat Bass, who's talking about don't worry about the mule going blind,
Yeah.
and that was just pretty much saying, don't worry about the situation, just make it do what it do, and without asking questions. But I don't think I got one about leading a horse to water. Uh, something that's something. I'm trying to think. I'm gonna have to think about it for a minute. But Tron, what you said, we used to do a workshop, and it was called the health and wealth because your health is your wealth and your wealth is your health. And what got us into doing the fighting obesity was a epidemiology study that talked about how people back in the 1600s, you could tell who had more money because they were larger. That means they could afford meat. They had more money. They could live better. Then people that were skinnier were usually less educated, less money, couldn't buy meat. Then it shows how it flipped for 2014, 2013. People that were smaller were able to eat better. They were able to have their own doctor, right? Versus going to the free clinic. They was able to do things. So your health is your wealth. So if you're in good health, you can make more money, but your wealth also helps you provide good health. If you got money to buy the better version of whatever it may be, it can help improve your livelihood. So it definitely connected having financial literacy and how to invest and being able to wait it out when you have a pandemic happen and not miss a beat. Um, we ready to study from the Book of Tron. Chuck,
Oh,
you ready
yeah.
for to study from the Book of Tron?
So
Oh,
that
yeah.
that was actually my question for Tron. You talked about the type of situation and kind of incubation space that you've created for the young men that are working with you at the Village Kitchen. Are you planning to expand on that in
Yeah.
terms of like, for folks like us that would like to
Yeah.
learn from the Book of Tron?
Yes. I'm putting together packages now that we can have to be able to have really seminars to take you through information about like really evaluating where you are and where you need to be. Like Chuck, I know you have children, so two sons that I know that I've grown to know and love very well from the posts and stuff like that and seeing them grow. So it's things like custodial accounts that you can set up for your children already. So when they become of age, even if you're investing that money, if you just start early, it puts you in a place where they can make decisions when they get older. So if you just started something that's like $50 a month as a child is 2 and you investing over 16 years, it can be the difference between you having an extra 30, 40, or $100,000 depending on the stocks that you're putting inside of those. And it's something that you can transfer over because you have a uniform gift account and a uniform transfer account that you can create for your child where you can invest for them. And so it's something that you get them started early. So,
Yeah.
quick question that I always ask, it's a thing called annualreturn.com. And you can look at it. If you would have put 10,000 into Apple 10 years ago and you didn't do anything, but just let it sit there, it'll now be worth $153,000. So we know people that may have, parents that may have money stashed in a mattress, or we may have people that money have stashed in a savings account, but it's not gaining anything because we've been taught this thing. What if the stock market crashed? And if you look at the 100-year history of it, the market has gone up continuously 80 to 90% of the time.
Tron, you,
So
you have to give us that link, man, so we can throw it up on the screen. You said annualreturn.com?
yeah, annualreturn.com.
Okay. And if you got it on your computer, you can throw it up too. We just have to share it.
Oh yeah, averageannualreturn.com. So
All
let
right,
me put.
gotcha.
So it's averageannualreturn.com.
All right, I'm pulling it up now, but keep going.
And so looking at all these tools that you have on the internet with us having like Investopedia, Focus Guru. So I have some that I always put in bar chart. It's all these Yahoo Finance, all these things we can do in research companies. Because when we look at all these companies, they're public traded companies. So all of their books are online for you to be able to review what the company is doing, how much cash they have on hand, on reserve, how much money they're making year in and year out, how much their dividends they're giving out. And these are a lot of financial terms that are very simple for us to go through if we just take the time now to go through it. So
Yeah.
if you see right here, go to enter symbol right there at the top, click on the
Enter
enter
symbol.
symbol
Uh-huh.
and hit AAPL. So that is a ticker symbol. The ticker symbol for Apple is AAPL.
And they got the ads on there. They got to pay the bills too.
And hit get annual return. And so you see if you scroll down here, you see where it say ending investment. So it say starting investment 10,000.
Uh-huh.
And you see how it says ending investment, there's 138,000.
I see
So
that.
if you and that's as of today. If you go to the top, it'll show you if you did this 10 years ago today. So it's 80131 if you end date was 7/31/2023. So people like maybe you don't have 10,000, but what if you just had $1,000 to put in there,
Right.
or $100 to put in there, and $100 turned into $13,000 something
Right.
like that. That's a big difference with you and your family. And I tell people all the time, we all know those family members that may not be doing the most legal things. Like, it may not be. Like, it's one of those things, like you said, we keeping it real. Like,
Yeah.
so it's up to us to get the knowledge, like, hey man, hey, you out here hustling, you doing this stuff, you got 2 kids or you got a child. Hey man, this is what you can do for your daughter if you really want to help her. And this is something that's gonna be standoffish of you. So if something happens to you prematurely, this is hers.
Yeah.
This is hers.
Yeah.
So another you can do, like, you looking at the stuff like you look, tell that Shopify, right?
Yeah, dog.
So SHOP. So these are the things that we have to start teaching. Like, if you just put $100 in there, so it's like, that's why they say you diversify, but not too much, because that's the stuff that you use.
Exactly, bro.
These are the stuff that you use on a daily basis that we know, and our people are the people that are the biggest consumers. So look up LVMH, because I know most people don't know who Arnold Bernard is. And he's the richest man in the world. He became the richest man in the world during the pandemic, of the fact that he owns all the luxury brands. As far as Hennessy, Moet, Louis Vuitton, Balenciaga, he owns probably over 400 brands. LVMH.
LVMH.
Yeah.
Louis Vuitton say, you ain't looking us up on here.
Well, let me look right there.
Well, what's that ticket? But boy, hey, Mac, you saw that, bro? And I kick myself every time I look at Shopify. And I've been using this thing like since the early days.
LVMHF. They added the
LVMHF. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay.
Still not doing it. I guess. Well, has it been around 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know. In that form, maybe not. LVMHF. What? Nah, we got Google, so we got, but Google A and Google B.
Well, do Tesla. TSLA.
TSLA. All right. Boom.
So Tesla is a big one. Like, if you look at Tesla numbers, you're gonna be like, this is crazy.
Shopify and Tesla running neck and neck though for the 10-year.
Exactly. So is also, I would say Chipotle.
Really?
Look at you. Let me go get you Chipotle.
What about Moe's? Like, you looking at Chipotle, because I mean they're competitors. Like,
but the moat that Chipotle has over there is Chipotle always partners with local farmers within a 100-mile radius of each one of their locations.
Really?
And if they don't have the stuff, they will give them the equipment and the tools that they need to make sure that their stuff is fresher for the thing.
So we talk about sustainability and like the support.
So they're all CMG is the name of Chipotle.
All right, let's look it up. CMG. Get average annual return.
So as far as a restaurant and the thing that they're doing, and right now their stock, it started at like $400 a share.
Wow.
So it started at $413 a share, and it's only gone up. So if you're looking at 16%, most people say when you invest, I can get you 7% return on your money.
Yeah.
If you know the company that you shop at, as far as a Walmart, a Target, if you know it's Amazon, Google, these are things that can help you just as far as investing. And so everything that we use is something that's pretty much publicly traded, or they're owned by some big company.
Yeah.
And so you just teach people now, when you're walking around and you're looking at these brands, look at them as business that you can potentially own. And what is the moat of that business? A moat for a business is what is the thing that's going to make you continue to use that, and how does it have competitive advantage? So Apple's competitive advantage is a switching moat. It's hard for you to switch once you get one Apple device. If you have one Apple device, more than likely you have 3. You're gonna either have the watch, the phone, the iPad, the computer. You're gonna have the AirPods. You're gonna have more than one of their products.
Yeah, Apple allows you to create like an ecosystem where
and it has seamless transfer amongst itself. So it's hard for you to beat that. And then it has subscription based.
Yeah.
So the subscription is like everybody at the store. Everybody wants to get on the App Store. So everybody that's a business usually pays Apple. Google pays Apple to be the number 1 search engine on Safari. I think it's like $10 billion a year they pay them to be the number 1 search engine on there.
Yeah. Man, so this is great.
it's a great company for you to invest in, and you see that what it's going to be for the long term. And so usually what I tell people when we're looking at a 10-year return or something on that, even if you're going to be conservative, right? Let's say we don't expect Chipotle to do 16% every year. Even if it did 8%, what would you be looking at in 10 years if you put your money there rather than in a savings account?
Right.
Like, where will your kids be if your kids are under the age of 10 or they're under the age of 10? Where will they be in 8 to 10 years if you just invested for them lightly and they wanted to go to college and you had things going on? Or they didn't want it. They wanted to start their own business when they got 16 or 17.
Yeah.
You take a draw from their account and you can, all right, this is the money I was putting up for you. So this is you to use as you please. Do some experimenting rather than saying I don't have the money for it. They may want to start a podcast or a YouTube channel at 13 or 14. If you've been investing since they was 4 or 5, and you're up in the, hey, here's $4,000 for you to start whatever you need to start. And this is giving us opportunity as Black men and Black women for you to experiment on, like, what am I good at?
Yeah. You got time to figure it out then.
I got time to figure it out rather than being 18 years old and trying to dabble into everything. And it feels like I'm moving around from everything to everything. So that's the biggest part of investing. They tell you can never time the market, but time in the market is way better than time in the market. So the longer you stay in, the better chance you have over time of making sure that you're going to be successful in it and making sure that you're creating wealth for a generation to come.
Man, this is beautiful, and I can't wait to hear more about it in your session on this Saturday. So for those of you that that know, and now this is for men, there will be from ages 12 on up into the elders. So it's limited to a particular demographic. I'm throwing the link to register for the conference in the comments right now. And we have to take a break because the person that just jumped on the screen, we got to wish her a happy birthday. And
Don't
be hitting the M.
Listen. Somebody come and look at this.
Now look, everybody.
Oh my God! Look at my
happy birthday.
It's
Tanya Boy Cannon.
Oh my God! Wait, I gotta take a picture of that. Wait.
Okay, hold on.
Somebody come and look at this. Some of my bitches, motherfucker. So hold on. Help me.
Look. We gotta sing. Hold on. This your happy birthday song right here. Hold on. Let me give you a happy birthday song.
Hell yeah. I want to say happy birthday to me.
There we go.
But I kick it off.
Yeah, your birthday tomorrow, but you got to kick it off.
You guys to the new member of the family.
That's somebody you got to invest for.
I already started. This is Harmony Naomi.
Hey, Harmony
Foster. She said, and Harmony, you gonna say hi? You gonna smile?
Look, we got to bring Rukia in for this family gathering. Come on.
Harmony, you're not gonna talk to people. She said, huh? You're not gonna say, you are not asleep. You smiling for them? Huh? This is my grandbaby Jante's baby girl. She birthed on July 19th. So I am a yay.
Yeah.
As we say in Igbo. So nye. So yeah, this is my Harmony Nicole. They be calling me Tanya Nicole. Harmony Naomi Jean. You gonna say hello?
It's all right, man. Tell Jante we said congratulations.
Uncle Chuck and everybody said congratulations, guys.
And we're gonna send
congratulations.
Thank you.
So happy.
You see, I know her hair bonnet.
She ready already. She ready.
And got her little gloves on.
Yeah, because she likes to scratch her face.
Mm-hmm.
She's a Cancer, so she came in. I was telling Jante, I said, I feel she's gonna come 2 days before I leave. She's gonna come before I leave on tour. And so she came 2 days before I left.
That's all right.
So so I'm still a Leo by myself.
Girl, be quiet. Be quiet.
Yeah, that's my baby. So hi everybody. So now I'm gonna return her to her parents so I can enjoy my Zacapa rum. Hold on one second.
All right, cool deal. And look, before we jump in, we got Kemar coming up, but we also want to give our sister Rukia a chance to tell all of the things that she has going on with her campaign. And I know there have been some other developments with the People's Advocacy Institute. So let's give Rukia the floor for a good moment, and then we will bring our brother Kemar in. So Rukia, tell us what's going on. What you got?
Yes. Hey, everybody. And Antron, I was listening. Good words, good advice. Like, I'm excited. I'm going to go look up those websites as well. Just really appreciate all you're doing. And shout out, we're going to be using the Village Kitchen for my watch party.
Hey, there we go. Yeah.
So excited. But everybody, I'm Rukia Lumumba. I'm running for state representative, House District 72. That is, if you're in the Beasley Road area, passing Watkins, passing State Street up to State Street, go all the way over to Tougaloo, County Line Road, going straight down County Line Road over to Wheatley, and then go again over to Lake Harbor. So it borders, it's a part of Ridgeland. This district covers parts of Ridgeland and parts of Northwest Jackson. And so we need you, I need you to come out and vote. On August 8th, that's next Tuesday. That's literally less than a week away now. It's next Tuesday. We have had real serious attempts. Many of y'all have been a part of these fights to literally infringe upon our democracy, to take our rights, to determine what public safety looks like for us, to really bring us back to a time period where we don't want to go back to, a time period where our rights were never respected. And so we need representation that is going to bring community into the process, not continue to exclude us. And we need representation that is courageous and bold enough to speak up for community, but can also, yes, work across the aisle, but most importantly is working for you. Because people work across the aisle all the time, but are they working for you?
Yeah.
That's going to be what's really important. And so, you know, I've been doing this work for a long time, a couple of decades. My work through the People's Advocacy Institute has been, you know, a lot of work to build public safety efforts in our communities that are community-based and driven. You know, I want to shout out Antron again because one of our programs, we had a Dignity Economy Fellowship that our Strong Arms of Mississippi had piloted back a couple of years ago. And that program worked with young people who were facing serious criminal charges in youth court or in adult court. And one of our young people met Antron one day, came to the Village Kitchen, and Antron gave him a job, you know, and I just was so thankful. And so just really appreciate, you know, Antron truly not only talks the talk, but walks the walk.
There we go. We got to get Tron. I didn't want to you know, interrupt Rukia in her comments, but we got to give my man the horns on that.
Rukia, really quick. Tron, what's up, boo? Look, I'm about to plan something over at the Village Kitchen. Because baby, we'll talk about the food and drinks later. But well, what's up, everybody? I know I jumped in. I apologize for being late. Rukia, can you really just talk about how important it is to understand that just because you are in the presence of supporting one who's running for a great cause to make change, that doesn't denote you as whomever. And let me help clear it up. A lot of people do not like to associate themselves with politics because they don't want to be looked at as that being, right? And I know a lot of musicians here at home, and we talk about it because I know several people who have been in the news, who've been, you know, caught up in some things, and I've supported them in the past. And I feel like what happens is the minute we sign on to show our love and support and dedication, people begin to label us as being everything but who we are. So can you talk a little bit about how important it is to understand that they are signing up for the cause and support of what you're doing, and it not being labeled as a politician, but as a true supporter?
Yeah. I mean, thank you for that. I mean, and that's a really great question. And most importantly, you know, it talks about who I am as a person. right? I'm not entering this because I think it's a career move. I'm not entering this because I want to stay in the seat for the rest of my life. I'm entering this position because I was asked to, one, by community, because it is a time where it is necessary. We need this type of leadership. We need the leadership that I'm going to offer. But most importantly, because it's time that we do something different. For the majority of my career in my life, I have truly worked to increase our ability to be responsible and self-determined in the policies and the resources and have the right to control the resources that dictate our lives, to create better conditions. So the work that I plan to do in the State House is no different than the work that I'm doing every day out here in the streets with very little to no power. And what I want to do is bring our community into that State House with me. I don't want to make decisions on my own. I want to actually use the processes that we've already practiced, like people's assemblies, and walk into that State House, get the information, and bring that straight back to the streets. Have those conversations in our big spaces and talk about, this is what they're talking about in the State House. Now, how should I move? How should I vote? And then I carry that in. And so who I am now is who I want to be and continue to be in that State House, is a representation of who you are, of who we are as a community. That's what I've spent my whole life being. I don't know any other way to be. And so, I if you want to call me a politician, then I'm a new type of politician. But I think it's okay to bring politics back to the people.
That
and that's
part.
what I'm trying to do. So
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, because that's what I've been dealing with. And I just stopped even, dealing with people saying, well, this is who you are. And I'm like, I mean, you can call me whatever you want. It's what I answer to. And so I've been dealing with that a lot in the communities, because I've called people out for a lack of accountability, and also asking for support with certain pillars, but then you get in office and you forget for what you said you were going to do.
Yeah.
So now I'm waiting for you to uphold those pillars in what you say you were going to do, or so that's why I thank you so much for clearing that up and sharing that.
And I'm so glad you raised that. And I'll be quiet because I know you got so many more important things to talk about, because I'm excited about this men's conference. I'm so glad it's happening. But one thing that people have to realize is that even if you elect a good person, that good person has to have a base that holds them accountable.
There you go.
I've had a base for forever that holds me accountable. Some of them folks are here on this call right now. Even when I was at Tulu, I had a base that held me accountable. And so, I don't, in the work I do right now, sorry to bust you out, Mac, but we in coalition all the time. I'm always being held accountable. There's always somebody ain't happy with, critique what I got to do, what I ain't doing, what I need to do, and so it's a part of the work, right? There's this saying, and I can't remember who said it first, but you can't just talk to the people who think like you. You can't just organize the people who want to be like you. You got to actually engage with people, period. If you're talking about governing, we are talking about a diversity of thought, diversity of experiences. And so we have to be humble. We have to be willing to engage people everywhere that they are, mentally and physically. And so that work is about being accountable to something bigger than your own personal idea.
So look, Rukia, we've got folks that are not from the state, and they like what they're hearing right now. That they're not residents, but I'm pretty sure you would mind the support from other areas. So if you could, before we get ready to bring our brother Kemar in, give one more reminder of how they can support you and your campaign as it relates to the coming days. I know that we need to get the vote out, right? But in terms of what can folks from outside of the state, outside of your district do to support you?
Yeah, please, please, please. You can go to my website and donate, rukialumumba.com, RUKIALUMUMBA.com. It's right there on the screen. You can also sign up. You can sign up to volunteer. We got stuff you can do from far away. You don't even have to be in Jackson to help us reach people. So definitely we take all support, and I just so appreciate y'all. And just check out my website in general. Check out the work I've been doing. Check out what I'm about. If it's inspiring, let's see some change happening in your areas. Like all of this matters. And so it's all support. Thank you.
Hey, we appreciate you for stopping by. And as we get ready to talk further about the men's conference, let's bring our brother, another workshop presenter, another Tougalooan, Key Marcane, ladies and gentlemen. He is in the building. What's up?
What's the word? What's going on, man? How is everybody doing tonight?
Look, man, we can't complain. Look, we are here.
Lovely.
We are ready to listen in. We're excited for Saturday, so we want to know what and cheers to you for being here, and thank you for bringing your nightcap with you, and also congratulations on you being a new father.
Yes. Thank you so much, man. My baby girl is 6 weeks as of this past Friday, and it's people have been asking me how has fatherhood been, and my answer is it is the greatest challenge yet greatest reward, and I am having a blast.
Hashtag girl dad.
Yeah, man. Hashtag girl dad. Yes, Lord.
Prepare yourself. That's all I'm gonna say.
Tanya gonna say, "Have mercy."
Listen, no, I'm telling you, I'm the baby, so I can call my dad still to this day, and I'll be 44 tomorrow, and I can call him for whatever, even if I don't call him. So it's something about a girl and her father, a black father and a black daughter. It's something about that can't be described.
Hey, she got me wrapped around her finger already for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, Lord.
That's what's up, man. So, Kimar, tell us what you'll be discussing and presenting and functioning your workshop on, and then we'll go with a round of questions for both you and Tron.
Hey, man. First and foremost, thanks for having me on. Once again, my name is Key Marcane, coming to you all the way live, your favorite country cousin, your favorite Mississippian, and your best friend. I have the pleasure and honor to present about mental health on this coming Saturday for the men's conference happening this Saturday, once again, August the 5th. So yeah, mental health, all things mental health.
All things mental health. So that we have that as a regular topic on Nightcap Knowledge, and I'm saying we have had some very therapeutic moments. We've had some very enlightening moments. We've had some difficult moments on and off air. So give us an idea of, if I'm a person, I have no baseline understanding of what mental health is. I'm 16 years old and I'm struggling to cope with the feelings that I'm having. How is Kemar gonna break it down to me that I have what it takes to handle and seek support as it relates to mental health?
First and foremost, what I think, as a man thinketh, so is he, right? And off of that, I was blessed with some advice from the spirit saying that whatever we look at is what we end up looking like. So I would try to shift the focus of the 16-year-old to see something different in front of him so he can see something different within himself. That's the baseline. Their perspective is everything. Once we clear up the perspective, I think everything else can kind of fall in line.
So are you, I know that you were in the classroom, so is this the pivot that you've made in terms of your path, and is the mental health path your next trajectory?
My brother, I mentioned to a couple of mentors, I'm a big fan of Brene Brown. I don't know if everybody or anybody is familiar with that young lady's work, but she deals a lot with emotional intelligence. And, a lot of people just understand the baseline, if you will, of emotions, whether someone is happy, you know what I mean? Whether shout out to Lars, me and him actually talked about what up, dog? Being happy, being sad, being upset. These are like the main emotions that we deal with. Brene Brown, actually, this is like her book, Atlas of the Heart, and it's over 80 emotions in this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking to become the black, what I'm saying, Brene Brown, if you will, but for black men and for black people in general. You know what I mean? But yes, you're correct. I spent 2.5 years in the classroom. I left in January of this year. And I always knew that education will be a stepping stool into what I'm doing now with mental health. As a lot of people may know, I started a group called Brother Helps Brother. And it is officially a nonprofit organization. So I'm building the blocks within that. Where I focus.
Gotta give you some horns on that. Gotta give you the horns. Come on. Come on. Come on, you're making moves, you're investing in what you got going on, and we can see what's happening. So that is awesome. Now tell us a little bit more about Brother Hell's Brother.
I'm glad you asked because we have our 1 year anniversary tomorrow. We'll be at Soleil Coffee and Bubble Tea in the Fondra area at 6 p.m. You know, every first Wednesday we link at Soleil from 6 to 8 p.m. And I tell people it is the perfect mixture of a barbershop talk and a therapy session. So you got the perfect marriage of ratchetness and righteousness, where it's a safe space for brothers to come connect, come share, to come just to come be.
You see,
I see that over there.
I got real excited when you said ratchet and righteous, boy.
Yeah. Hey, you know, I like that combination, you know, ratchet and righteousness. You know, some of the best folk we know love the Lord and cuss you out in the same breath.
It's necessary. Like Steve Harvey say, I'm a cussing Christian. The God ain't through with me yet. You know what I'm saying? I can have the Holy Spirit and still go off. It's okay. God still love you.
I'm preacher scared. The motherfucker is my favorite word.
All right, on cue.
Listen, no, I love the fact that you're doing everything that you're doing, and I'm gonna let you continue to talk about it. But I wanted to really shout out you and the brothers on here because my husband and I were married over 20 years.
That's
amazing. And I tell people marriage is not easy. And it got to the point we were going down the road for divorce a couple of times. And I would ask him, I was like, what do you want for you? He can never answer it. Right. And then he was like, I want us to be happy. I said, we can't be happy if you can't tell me what you want for you. So I would really push him and encourage him to find what makes you happy. What makes you happy is going to help us to be happy because Tanya knows what she loves, you know? And so and you're right, Lars, it's ongoing. And especially my philosophy, I worked 12 years in OPP here in New Orleans with Black men, felons, charges.
Prison for those that
listen, these brothers, and a lot of them, my philosophy was always, there's no difference between you and I. The only difference is you got caught. That's my philosophy. I will watch the sisters that come in there and just ridicule and taunt the brothers with babies and say he going to see his real daddy and leave with their children on visitations day. Like I would see all of this, which made me pour into more the Black man. So I salute you. And I did this because I've been asked to walk into the mental health field for the longest. And I was like, oh, I don't think I need to do that because I'm a crazy motherfucker by myself. So I don't think I'm ready. But for you to say that, it really gives me joy. And I salute you and all of my brothers on here because it takes a Black man to be vulnerable for another Black man to know it's okay to be vulnerable. So you can see what it is that you need to make the relationship be what it should be.
And I tell you, you know what I mean? I've been fighting against this for years for that very reason. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of cats that aren't comfortable with sharing certain things. And these past 2 years, I've really been experimenting with being more vulnerable. And in some cases, I wish I didn't give so much. And in some cases, I'm glad I did. But even in the cases that I wish that I didn't, I still learned a lot about myself. And still was able to connect with the greater version and the most authentic parts of myself as well. You know what I mean? But just like even in the classroom, I fought for 10 years. I'm 33. I fought for about 10 years not to be in the classroom. And you know what I mean? It's like Spirit sat me down like, dude, go teach. This ain't a forever thing, but I need you to go through this process to get to the next situation. And and again, I left the classroom fresh in January. My kids started to find me on Instagram and Facebook. I'm like, these kids finding me, man. Like that's the difference. But then I taught 9th and 10th grade. My first year I taught elementary, and I'm like, yeah, I can't do the little babies. I need the big kids. And my kids still reach out to me. And when I left, they blessed me with some beautiful gifts, some great kind words that I will forever keep. They wrote letters to me. I keep one of my students wrote a little note, and I keep it in my wallet, because what I've done, my style of teaching, because I do not like the way the education system is set up. But with my classroom, the first 10 to 15, even 20 minutes, some days I let them kind of like be loose from coming from the previous class that they came from. And then I would start with, how are y'all doing today? Or on a Monday, I would ask them, how was their weekend? And we actually talk. We have a real conversation, which then turned into debates, which then segues into the lessons that were being taught. I had the pleasure of teaching history and psychology, two of my favorite subjects.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I majored in history at Tougaloo, mainly because I like history. I ain't really know what I wanted to do. I really should have majored in mass comm, but that's neither here nor there. You know, but like,
that's another podcast.
You dig what I'm saying? But yeah, like that's how I operate in my classroom, and I feel like I've done my duty within that, because like 90% of my kids big me up almost every day, saying thank you for, like, you the only teacher that let us talk. You the only teacher that listen to us. You the only teacher that like really let us say what we want to say, of course, in a respectful way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even when it came to the knuckleheads, the young men, out of my 2.5 years of teaching, I had to get 3 young brothers together and actually had to get in their face a little bit and little boy them for real. But then even after that, you know, they became like my sons, and they became under my wing. And even one kid, even to this day, he tells me, hey, Mr. Kane, this is what I'm reading these days.
Yeah.
Because I let them know, like, hey, I keep this book right here at my desk, and I keep it open on this particular page where it says that I understand art reflecting life, but we grew up on art instructing life. Art instructs life. Like, this is my spirit animal. Nipsey Hussle is my spirit animal. So I keep this book open on this particular page. And it's like, yo, this art, this literature, these conversations, you know what I'm saying, that we have with the youth. Like I said, it took me a minute to get into education. It took me a minute to get with work with grown black men. My favorite quote, you know what I mean? Frederick Douglass. What did he say? Damn. He said, it's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men.
That's it.
And I understood that coming into building Brother Helps Brother. But the very first gathering I did last year, again, tomorrow we'll make our first year anniversary. But, you know, I broke it down. I did a 10 question questionnaire, and I'm going to do a case study on that. And I broke down things that most black men go through. And then I let the letters are right over here on the other side of my office. And I'm going to be passing those out to the brothers that pull up tomorrow who came to the first meeting. And I want them to see how far they came from writing that letter to themselves, like putting brothers to work. The question is, how many brothers are really willing to do the work? This conference is all about men under construction. How many brothers are really willing to do the work? I appreciate that Tron really broke down things about the finances and all of these things. But at the same time, like, if your mind ain't right, what good is the money gonna do you? You know what I'm saying? Robin Williams, all these other cats, you know, that's unhappy making a whole lot of bread. But if your mind ain't steady, your mind ain't right, be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. You dig what I'm saying? If you ain't planted out here, you're going to be withering like a loose leaf.
I definitely,
downstream.
If I can jump in really quick, I know it. I want to, if I can give a nugget of something that you can, I know you have your scope and sequence and everything for the weekend. Bless you. If you can talk to us and possibly share if you've experienced any of your mentees that you've experienced with maternal issues, because a lot of black men that I've dealt with and I could talk to in my own household, a lot of their pain came and trauma came from maternal disconnect.
Yes.
Right. And so even my students to this day in school, and you know, when I have these conversations and I'll tell them, come to my office, you know, my office door is always open, have candles lit, music is playing, and we just sit there and I let them talk. They sit for a minute and I say, breathe. And after they finish breathing, listen, Ashe. And I say, what's on your mind? And the majority of the time of my kids, they're hungry, they're tired, and they just want somebody to hear them.
That's it. They want somebody to listen to them.
I had one who was on Bourbon Street. I was out there and his friend was walking up as if he was about to rob me. But he was just walking. I scoped him out. And all I heard was T say, don't fuck with her. Don't play. Miss Cannon. And I looked at him and he told his homeboy, he said, Nick, and he just went off. And I said, and when I realized who the kid was, he was like, Miss Kelly told me before she told you. And he realized who I was. And so the reason I say that is because a lot of our Black men struggle with maternal disconnects. So it roller coaster or domino effects into relationships. It domino effects into their lifestyles. And so if you could just talk a little bit about how, because your maternal connection may be different, but just really going through what you've experienced, and like you said with your kids, have you experienced that, and what has that looked like for you as a Black man?
I'll speak on myself personally, and I love my mother to life. You know what I mean? She might be watching because I posted it on my page and everything. But my mother and I, from the pandemic, we've had some real conversations, and even prior. You know what I mean? My mother put me in positions where I had to make executive decisions at the tender age of 10 years old. You dig what I'm saying? Decisions that I shouldn't have been making for a household. You understand what I'm saying? And honestly, since we cussing on here, it fucked me up. And I actually, and that's that's the only way I could have worded it to my mother. Not down to my mother, because again, we've had these conversations. I love my mother to life. Do you understand what I'm saying? I am not downing my mother. But that's what I told. I say, man, that fucked me up, having to make certain decisions like that at 10 and 11 years old. I had therapy at the tender age of 10 years old because my mother's friend was like, hey, he may need to go to therapy.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that about me, but it's like I've become so much of an open book because I understand like niggas really be going through shit out here, you know? So
for real.
Yeah. So it's like with the maternal situations, you know, my mother, it was understood that I needed to be clothed, fed, and make decent grades. But then, like, basically, right? And so even with my mother and my father, as I gotten older, it was like, damn, they could only do what they knew how to do. And they were probably just mirroring what they seen as a child as well. Like, oh, well, this is how I was raised. My kids should be okay. But now you got this generation that's learning emotional intelligence and mental health and things of this nature. And so it's like my daughter Kimari, it's gonna be a totally different experience. Like even when I found out she was on the way, I was like kind of not stressing, but kind of anxious. Like, all right, it's time to like kick it in gear. I need to make some more money. I need to do this. I need to do that. And then one day it just dawned on me, like, dude, just give this child back to God. Like God is blessing you with this kid to raise her. So it was like, even today I prayed. It was like, God, like continue to give me the wisdom and the discernment that I need in order to raise this girl. That's the way I need to raise her.
That's the prayer.
Even with relationships, romantic, family, you know, friends, I'm learning to just like let go. I've been like this damn near my whole life, and it's like, dude, let everything go. And I've learned to do that with me giving my child back to God, who blessed me with a healthy, beautiful baby girl. So it's like my students hearing that some kids, they ain't give a damn about their grades because their mother would tell them, hey, I don't need you to go to school today. I need you to take me around the corner over here in real life. You know, it ain't like, oh, take me to a doctor appointment. No, they trying to go hang out all day. Hey, I need you to. I'm like, dude, I don't want to fail you. I know you smart. You don't want to do nothing. He's like, oh, Mr. Kane, man, my dad and my mom about to come up here and get me. You know what I'm saying? She want me to take over here by such and such. I'm like, and these kids, y'all remember the show Kids Say the Darndest Things with Bill Cosby?
Bill Cosby, yeah.
And them kids was talking spicy. Them kids let you know what time it is. They do not hold back whatsoever. They will tell you their business again if you listen to them. And I gave them both of my ears. And it's like they just let the whole can out. But like the maternal to son, or mother to son, if you will, that relationship is just as key as the father and son relationship, because that does teach us how to treat some of our women. It does like carry on. Because one thing I was telling my students as well, I say, be a kid. I say, but please understand and know that whatever you're doing right now between 15 and 18 or whatever the case, you will live with that shit for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I still, in my 33-year-old mind, sometimes see myself as this 10-year-old boy. that had to make certain decisions for my mother. You live with that shit for the rest of your life. Like I'm going back to therapy for the very thing that I needed for at 10 years old. I'm going back to therapy for that because I've seen how that and other things in my life have affected all of my relationships.
And you'll see it more as your daughter grows up, because I share with my husband, and I tell people it'll be 23 years come January. We're open book. Look, Jonte back there, Jay over there. But I tell my kids, because now my daughter has her own family. My son soon will have a family and so forth. And I feel like when you mention about your mom and how her upbringing was all she knew, the thing is, it's called generational upbringings, but we have to break those generational upbringings that create curses or that creates trauma. And we have to, and you said that about your daughter, and Chuck and I, between Chuck Mack and I, we're always, we'll joke all day, as we say in New Orleans, joke all day, right? Or kind of banter. However, at the end of the day, we're Black 365. And my daughter hit me up before she had my grandbaby. She goes, Mom, I just feel like you're hard on me. I was like, you're Black in 365, you're in America. What you want me to do? Sugarcoat it? It's going to hurt. The world doesn't care. And you got to do it. What you want me to do?
But I want you to know how to handle it.
But I want you to know how to handle it.
And to know that you got somebody that you can talk to
all day.
And when you talk to me,
listen,
go to your therapist.
Listen, she was like, Mama, you're so mean. And because she's my rainbow baby. Our first baby is our ancestor. So I had to share that with her, because when she was pregnant, she told her daddy first. Yeah. See how y'all look like, wow. She told her dad first. She was like, Mom, I was scared you was going to be, you want, and so I share that to say that I've been breaking those generational curses or traumas within my family. And I refuse to allow anything to go unseen and unheard. And I commend you and all of you for what you're doing, because this is how we begin healing for us and also building our generations to follow.
So look, let me jump in here, and I want to remind everybody that's tuned in now. We are discussing men under construction, but it's a full conversation that will go on this weekend at Tougaloo College. I'm throwing the graphic on the screen now, so you can see the t-shirts that the men will be receiving. You see that logo right there in the middle: Mississippi Men Under Construction, building bridges of respect, relationship, and legacy. This is brought to you by the Black Men's Health Equity Council. Now, we got a few questions. One of the first questions was for Tron. Tron, we have a question. I think it was from Jamila. Jamila asked, is it detrimental to start investing later in life rather than sooner? And I look, I damn near want to try to answer the question myself, because I heard one of Tron's mentors from afar, a person that he follows. He said it today. There's no better time to get in the market than to get in the market.
In the market, yeah.
I want you to elaborate on that. Get on that, man.
The way I say is, like, I'll treat it like the analogy with the tree. The two blessed times to plant a tree was 20 years ago and today. So you can't make up for the time that has been lost, but you can make up for the time that's coming. So the sooner the better that you can get in. We can't blame for what we didn't do 10 years ago. But we can get in today, and we can start putting our money to work for us today. Because at the end of the day, every dollar in your pocket, every dollar in your account needs to be assigned a role, and need to go out and recruit more of those dollars to come in. That's the goal.
I like that. So look, Kemar, I want you to respond to this comment, or a couple of comments, because not the Since We Cousin comment. That was funny though. Shout out to Jamila Cooper. But look, Jamila said we often blame Black men's issues on fatherlessness, but being unmothered is a whole other problem. Can you respond to that? Because you and Tanya gave us a good discourse about it, but I think we deserve to hear a bit more from this.
Absolutely. And shout out to my mother, because she was an amazing mother, and I was mothered very well. But I have seen motherlessness quite a bit from those who have lost their mothers who have transitioned, and those whose mothers who didn't want to be involved with them at all. And so that can bring a lot of anger. I know for me personally, I wish my mother had taught me certain things, taught me more of certain things, because I felt resentment like in my teenage all the way up to my 20s. And it took us having a real hard conversation in the kitchen that I grew up in back home, and said, like, I said something, and she gave me the comment. She said, "You make me seem like I was a bad mother." I said, "That's not the case." I said, "I'm honestly just expressing myself so that you can know how I feel, and it's not bottled up in me per se." You know what I mean? And but you were a great mother, but I need you to understand, like, this is why I resented you for this many years. So I wanted my mother to understand, like, why I resented her, because she would be like, "Why are you so snappy at me? Like, why do you talk to me sometimes the way that you do?" Like, even my father too, because my father wasn't necessarily in my life for real. But I'm talking more about my mother because that's the subject. Just want to put that out there. But like, it's just certain things I wish that I was taught from my mom. But like that motherlessness, seeing from other kids and other people that I know, that's where a lot of anger comes from, because we don't get like the proper nurturing. Like, brothers want nurturing. I don't care what nobody tell you. Just like some of these women be like, "I don't want to be hard all the time." Brothers don't want to be hard either. They can talk crazy and slick all they might, but hey, we want some loving too. You know what I mean? From our mothers, from our women, from our the love of our lives, our wives, whatever the case. We want that too. You know what I mean? We need that safe space as well. So that motherlessness, that can lead to a lot of anger, where we implode, commit suicide, have suicidal ideations, or where we do a lot of pimp shit and be playing around with a whole bunch of different women emotions. And it's an ongoing cycle where you have, Papa was a Rolling Stone type thing. And we just out here planting seeds and not having any intentions on being, in any of our kids' lives, because we felt that to a degree.
Yeah.
We're not getting certain things from our parents, but from our mother, if you will.
Yeah. Look, I got one. Hold on. I got to get this one in. I want Tron and Antron to talk to this, because I truly feel Dr. Lars Johnson's comment.
Shout out to Lars, man. I love that brother.
I love Dog too. I think Lars's comment will help us round out the show tonight. Lars's comment says, sometimes you have to have impact or impact lives on one level to understand what they need from you on the next level.
Mental shampoo.
Yeah.
So Tron, talk to us about your process and the impact that you've had on the lives that you've been working with, and how it led to you knowing what's next for you. Okay.
Like Kimar was saying, you run from a lot of things, and I've been blessed, to come from a very stable background of having a lot of men that took their arms around me. Mac being one of them. They've seen me since I was like a small little child, so they know the good, the bad, and the ugly that comes with it. But it's so much of you having to be naked with yourself.
Yeah.
I would say, in that sense of, like, I have to be real with myself, and I've had moments where I have to be the best version of myself for me to be more understanding. A lot of times we overstand, but we don't try to understand things. Mm-hmm. And so I'm all about, like, being understanding and realizing that they say it's 3 stages that males go. You're born a boy. Then once you realize that people are human and the people you look up to are human, you become an adolescent. And the day that you forgive them, you become an adult. Like, you become a man when you forgive people. And so you have to realize that, like you said, your parents were doing the best that they knew how. And so with the stuff that I've been equipped with, is like the universe really had to sit me down. Like, I spend a lot of time one-on-one with me and my thoughts now. It's like I'm reading, I'm researching, and I'm always learning about me, because sometimes, like you said, we have that resentment in our mind. We have that child syndrome, because when things happen to us, trauma happen to us, as oftentimes I feel like we as Black men, we don't get to experience emotions often. I tell people all the time, nobody controls their emotion. You manage them. And the more you come into contact with those emotions, the better you understand like what is happening to me and what is a better way to respond. How do I respond to this? Which is why you have people making split-second decisions when they're super angry that put them in jail for 20 years or for the rest of their life. Because you're making an impulse decision and you haven't been able to cope with those emotions. You haven't been able to open up to those emotions, to be vulnerable in that moment, to realize like, hey, that shit you said hurt my feelings. Like, hey, bro, like I have to tell my guy, like I was wrong. I'm sorry. I have a crew of people around me that are not afraid to check me. Like Rakia said, like my staff and my crew check me. If you come into the restaurant and you hear how we talk to each other, it's on a friend basis.
Yeah.
It's not about me being the owner. It's not about me being the manager, me writing the check. It's about, hey, we are a family in this setting. And we're going to have this conversation because you may come in and you're dealing with an issue at home. And it can be the smallest thing. You know when you're angry, the smallest shit pisses you off. And so when I have to learn with myself, when I'm not in the right mind space to go over there and to be responsive to being the responsible or the elder in the group, I have to keep myself from being in that environment because they don't need the worst version of me, because your business and the people around you that look up to you, they take on your, it's like a Coke-like following. They take on what you put out, the energy that you give out to them. So I have to always put myself in a mental capacity to be like, hey, somebody's watching you, my guy. And I have to be the best version of myself because I may not be the one that changed the generation after me, but I may be the one that sparks the person that does.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm always holding myself to a standard about doing stuff. And that's why I say when you said, Kimar, like you have rich people doing it, I think oftentimes in our community, the way we look at money is so negative that it keeps us from thinking that we deserve to be rich or we deserve to be able to take care of our family. 95% of our problems stem from financial situations. 95%. If you look at why most black men are angry, why most people get divorces, why most people don't get along, it's over money. It's always, it stems back to, I feel like I didn't get the fair deal on this money that came in. I feel like my mama gave more attention and bought more stuff for my sister than they bought for me. So now I feel some type of resentment. I feel resentment. And so particularly the psychological of it, which is mental shampoo, like you say, it's still mental. It's like, how do we perceive money? How do we receive people? How do we receive the things that we do in life? Everything, like, it's mental when we come to it. So I tell people all the time, the book that I refer to them is like The Richest Man in Babylon. It's like, it's a book that I give. It's the book that I give everybody. It's like, you have to learn that, like, hey man, I don't want my kids to grow up in a world where I'm saying no to them because I can't afford it and it's something that they need. It might be life changing. I want to be able to say no as an action where I think this is going to help form the foundation of what you need to become the best version of yourself. I don't want anybody to be Tron. I don't want anybody to be anybody else. I want you to be the best version of yourself and just to be happy in that moment of you doing that. So when I'm teaching financial literacy, I realize how many problems us as black men, we'll talk about sports. We'll argue about sports. We'll argue about politics. We'll argue about it. But the moment we get to talking about money, it's like everybody gets quiet when they talk about
Everybody get quiet.
So you can be about to lose your house and your homeboy can really help you, but you won't open your mouth because your ego has gotten in your way of saying, hey, bro, I'm struggling right now. I need 8. And the only people that we do that is really with the, like, as a fraternity, I know it's comfortable, but name me any other group besides golf now that you see a group of black men get together besides fraternity and get together and they've been friends for 10 plus years or 15 plus years and really talk about their marital problem. They talk about their financial problems and they do it because other groups of people that I'm seeing at the gym, at the golf course, they are always discussing things to make their family and their business better. That's what they're discussing 90% of the time when I have a conversation with them.
And one thing I've learned
go ahead, I'm sorry.
One thing I've learned too, even within that, is that cigars, that's what got me into cigars. Cigars have brought brothers together in a way that I never thought I would experience. Talking about everything from business to family to whatever the case. Cigars will do it too.
The Mac point.
So what was from a female's perspective, a black woman who every now and then enjoy a cigar. But I love talking about finances, right? My husband and I can say that that was one of our issues majorly was finances. And when you spoke to that, that is high. That is a high point on the scale of conversation when it comes to marriages being successful, finances, right? So really quick, and everyone can answer this, but when you started talking, trying to, it really made me go, huh? What was your aha moment that made it realistic for you to say, I need to make a change? I need to work on where I'm at. I don't want to be here because I want to be here, if that makes sense. And everyone can answer that because again, I have 3 Black men in this household,
Yeah.
2 Black women and myself, three. So it's a total of 6 people and my grandbaby, 7. And when I'm telling them things about saving and investments, it's like, but Starbucks, every time I go to
Nah,
Starbucks
nigga.
and people purchase, I'm getting a nice,
Hey, buddy.
investment and
Yeah.
looking at my residuals and what have you.
Residuals coming in good.
So
Come on.
listen, so can you talk to us about, and everyone can share your aha moments and then just give a bit of nuggets for those who are listening, and they're gonna get this link and that's gonna be their homework assignment.
Come on.
But go ahead and your aha moments.
My biggest aha moments came. I had two biggest aha moments. The first one came when I went to Africa for the first time in 2013. And
Ashe.
I began to travel. I went to South Africa. I went to Johannesburg. I went to go see like the Hector Peterson Museum. I did Desmond Tutu. I went to visit the museums. We went to Durban, South Beach, and I spent like 3 weeks there. And they said something about like being in the motherland. It's like and the only thing I could keep thinking of when I was there was like, damn, I wish my cousins could see this. It was never about, I wish, because they say when you're in Mississippi, the rest of the world doesn't seem real. And when you're in the rest of the world, Mississippi doesn't seem real. And my thing was, I wanted to travel. So my name after college was like trying to travel. Like if I could get on a flight, I was going somewhere every week. I was trying to go. Like I'm going to Panama, I'm going to Africa. I'm trying to go see the world. And so everywhere I went, and you started to see these things, and they say traveling for a year is almost equivalent to having a 4-year education. If you're getting culture and you're talking to people while you're there, because you become so much diverse with the knowledge that's around you and the world that's around you. So being able to spend time in LA, New York, Chicago, Atlanta, and then going to Africa, and you're really with the people and you're having conversations, it's like, damn, I wish they were here. Because I've always been blessed enough to believe, like, I was taught the greatest thing that my parents ever gave me was the ability to think that I could do anything. There's nothing you're gonna tell me to psych me out or convince me that like I'm not great. I don't like that shit you saying don't bother me. I'm like, hey bro, like I don't have to depend on you to give me the knowledge. Just tell me where the knowledge is. I can tell you what to look, but I can't tell you what to see. And we often I can't tell you what to see. So I can
Oh
stuff to you.
Lord. Wait, what am I
And so
doing?
when we're doing it, it's like now it's like so that was a moment. And then like 8 months after I got a chance to go to Africa, I had a situation where my dad he got incarcerated. And so for the first time in like my life, like I felt like I didn't have like that one person that I could call. Because I've been one of those Black men that's they've been vulnerable with my dad. Like I'm like he's a rough parent. So me being his son, opening up to him about like, hey bro, like when you don't pick up and I call, I'm not calling to really talk. I'm just calling to hear your voice. Like I have to tell him this shit. Like I don't want anything. I just felt like calling your ass right now. Like you good? And so, and you have those relationships even amongst the brothers where like when you pick up the phone and they hear your voice, they know something wrong with you. Hey dog, I'm finna come get you. Your friends will know. You don't have like when you're around people long enough, they will know by your energy, like, hey bro, let me get you out the house. You're not good. Let me help you get good. Just talk to me. And so, and having those moments where you lose somebody so close to you, I keep telling you, those of us that have been like terribly hurt in the Black, like if you've ever had to put dirt on top of somebody and you've ever had to talk to somebody through a glass that you truly love and you've seen like hope almost leave their eyes, or you've seen like them no longer, you can hear their voice, but you can't touch them. That's like a strong feeling that we as Black men experience, because that trauma, a lot of Black men have men that they grew up with that are no longer here. And you had situations with these people and experiences with these people, and that messes with your psychology, because you say your ancestors talk to you, but we don't teach us how to talk back to our ancestors or how to talk to people that have gone to the other side, because they come talk to you and you can hear motherfuckers clear as hell. You can act like you don't,
Come
you
on.
act like it's something crazy, you hear that.
Yeah, man.
And a lot of times, those are the ones that are guiding you through the process. Like, hey, bro, this shit, like, as this entrepreneur life, you sit some days in this room and you like, fuck, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know if I'm good enough. Like, you know, I struggle with imposter syndrome. I have owned a restaurant for 5 years, and I still would not tell people, like, it's not, I felt like I stepped into a space that wasn't my destiny or what I feel like wasn't my goal. But I happened to get good at it because I was so afraid to fail that I did everything in my power to put in overtime while I'm staying up 8 hours, 5 hours after we close and we done worked all day to really read books, look at podcasts, and be like, I got to figure this shit out because I got 22 employees that are dependent on me. And I can deal with failure, but I can't deal with failure knowing that I didn't put my best foot forward.
Yeah.
So that's the part that scares me with the eye-opening moment. Is like, I'm too afraid to fail knowing that I didn't give my all or I didn't leave it all on the field, as to say in sports.
Yeah. Kemar, jump in there.
I know for me, man, I got 2 instances as well. One, when I ran out of reasons to blame others for my progress, honestly. And that was at the age of 27. And I will also say my second aha moment was when I moved to Atlanta the second time when I was 26. And Atlanta, I love Atlanta. Fila, like I have the same amount of love I have for the A as I do for Mississippi, because Atlanta really grew me up the 5 years I lived out there. And that all started with a mentor that I had from Philadelphia, which led me to another great mentor who was like, hey, Kemar, you know, just keep coming around, bro. That was like the best advice I could have ever received, because me living in Atlanta, you would have thought I was making some decent money. I was working 2 minimum wage jobs. One of the bros actually let me sleep on his couch for a year until I got myself situated. You know what I mean? So it's like that aha moment and learning to depend on certain people when you're kind of at a rock bottom, but then trying to dig your way out of a certain hole as well. And then understanding that, like Oprah has said one time before in the clip, like, you are responsible for your happiness. You are responsible for your life. Mm-hmm. And I learned that between 26 and 27, like, dude, I'm responsible for me. Like, my parents did what they could. And like, you had your fun and whatnot in your early 20s, but now shit finna get real, and it's up to you to decide how far you gonna go. So Atlanta really grew me up, and like being in spaces where, like I said, brothers was telling me like, hey man, just keep coming around, Kemar. And I started seeing people making millions of dollars. I started being in these circles. But then, like Tron said, I began to have imposter syndrome, because it's like I'm around all these people, they making all this money. I got their numbers. I can pull up to their crib and kick it with them, and just, but at that point, I'm still young-minded, and it's like I'm in the room. I was happy because I was simply in the room. But it's like, dude, like, I kick myself in the tail sometimes, even to this day. If I would have really had my head down and worked as hard as I'm working now, how far I could have been presently. You know what I mean? Time don't stop, like dogs say. Like, and I was so like hype in the moment. It's like, man, I'm around all these millionaires and shit. I can pull up when I feel like it. I can get in all these events for free. I'm meeting all type of celebrities, meeting T.I. I'm meeting some of everybody when I'm living in Atlanta. Some of everybody. But I soaked up some game. I just didn't execute. And that's when I learned too, like, my father is responsible for teaching me about the bigger picture, right? He taught me about luxury. I remember sitting down with him one time, and we were looking at this magazine, and it was a ad in the magazine of a Rolls Royce. He was like, man, pick out your what you think your dream car would be. I had to probably been about 12 years old. It was a Rolls Royce Phantom Coupe. I'll never forget. Cranberry glossy red color with peanut butter leather seat, suicide doors. That was my dream car for the longest, simply because my father was like, yo, look at this. Like, this is out here. You know what I mean? And I said my dad wasn't really in my life, but that stuck with me forever, right? Say, pick out your dream car. Like it's out here. And so my father taught me how to dream for real. My mother was more structured, but my father taught me how to get out of myself and understand that there was more out of myself. Right. So going back to the Atlanta situation, I'm just living, I'm getting in all these events people would dream to be in, and being around people would dream to be around, but I wasn't executing enough. Right. Like I know people right now that started after me with certain stuff and they have skyrocketed. And now it's like, how do going back to perspective, how I talked about earlier, how do you look at that? Can you blame them for like shooting they shot and making it, and you was holding the ball for so long and the shot clock went off? You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga. It ain't nobody fault but my own. And it's like, hey, I had to also get out of chasing something out of regret and just be on a pursuit of purpose for real.
Yeah.
Because even I had a brother tell me, and I ain't gonna say the brother's name, but he's a dynamic speaker and he speaks all over the world. And I remember chilling at his brother's crib and he gave me advice on public speaking. This was 2017. I was 27 years old. He was giving me tips, and I still listen to that for tips on public speaking. And he said, look, Kemar, he said, man, what you be talking about, you can make you a book. He said, look, if you don't finish this book in a year, I ain't gonna be your friend no more. And I got so much respect for that brother. You know why? Because after the year was up, this nigga wasn't my friend no more. And so honestly, and that brother taught me so much, and I respect that so much that I'm working now and motivated by that friendship to get back to that, because that brother taught me just that much about public speaking and about business. My hang up was I didn't just want to put anything out, and honestly, I didn't feel in my spirit that it was time for me to actually release a book as well. So it was two things. Like I didn't want to just put out something just to say I put out something, and I didn't necessarily feel it in my gut to put it out. But it's like, hey, I had that. And it's like, yo, now I have purpose work. Now I got my life's work. And it feels good to be in. And all those years in Atlanta and all those other years are not in vain, because I'm utilizing all those things now. So those are my aha moments.
Good deal.
Yes, Lord. But they say God will give you the vision, but he'll never give you a step-by-step process. Because most people, if you know what you got to go through to get there, you'll be like, fuck this a long time ago.
Oh, God.
I was like, hey, bro. If you told me being in a restaurant with this hard, hey, man, y'all can have this chicken.
Well, yeah, Mac, what's your aha moments, man?
Man, for me, it's life, right? Growing up how I grew up and seeing my folks and want to do something different. Being wanting to take care of them and knowing that they had to do something different. And definitely that was one. And then the other one was sort of like when everybody else with COVID, like for the business Chuck and I talked about, everything we did involved people. and now we got something, we can't be around people, but we figured out how to be around people and still make things work. And we had started another process where we were, making moves with stock and everything else in the moment where we don't even know we're going to be here tomorrow. But I wanted to save that for two things I wanted to say earlier. I've been fighting with a podcast, workshop, training, a discussion for like the last 4 or 5 years. And I think I need to just put the right panel together. Absent fathers and toxic mothers, right? That's a conversation that people really don't want to get into, but it is real. Absent fathers and toxic mothers.
That's good.
And that's something I definitely gonna talk to you guys about putting this together. We need to make it happen. The other thing is go watch Clone Tyrone. I want this group to watch this, and we need to get it
so
back
good.
We need to have a discussion about that, because what y'all said is, and what people don't get from the movie, we are the clones.
All right. Woo! Hey, well, boy, that's a lot of lead in right there. I would say my aha moment as of most recent was when I became aware of exactly who I was at the time and the person that I was becoming. And it was because of my upbringing at Tougaloo or my awakening at Tougaloo. I had no problem saying it to anybody that was in the room. So you ask me the question, you're gonna get the answer. And as you can see, Jackson is coming in. Y'all hold on. What'd you say? Yeah, you can get a couple more. Make sure
Hey, Jackson.
Jackson.
That's my boo.
Hey.
Hi.
What's up, John?
I asked him. I asked him to jump in. I said, "Babe, you want to share your aha moment?"
Oh
But
yeah.
I didn't want to cut you off because I know I've been. This is my husband, John. You know Chuck and Mac. Look, that's Trine. That's Kimar. I said it right, Kimar.
Okay.
So this is my husband of 22 years.
If you don't know,
Now you can't remember the numbers.
My birthday tomorrow. Fuck, somebody come and look at this. Some of a bitch. Help me.
Shout out to Chili's 05. Shout out to Chili's 05 right there.
Shout out to Chili's over.
ain't that crazy?
All right.
So here, babe. We just sharing. I just asked as black men, and I share with here. Put it in your ear. I was telling them to share about what made your aha moment as far as like getting the help that you need. We talk about finances, like making those changes. What was your aha moment that made you go, shit, let me get myself together?
I think for me it was having a heart attack last year. One, that was a major part of it, and then just crossing over into. I mean, we have a grandbaby now, but we knew she was pregnant 9 months ago, so it was like I had to cross over into that 9 months ago, and then just finding out that it wasn't just a heart attack. I have a rare disease. The climate of my relationship with my wife, it spilled over into the climate of the relationship with our children. And then when you sometimes in life you have to take a road that it's new to you, so you don't know what's on the other end of that road, but you take it anyway. You hit bumps, you have bruises, all that shit is a part of it. But it's like all of those bumps and shit on that road should be, if nothing more, be character building. And then when you put in a situation like the thing that always get me is I was thinking about my grandfather's raised me. My father was murdered when I was 4. So, now that I'm a grandfather, I feel compelled to be in an even more position to be able to do more because that's who done it for me, And then I've already made it through that phase of raising my children. So it's like now it's, and then like I said, it's just the desire to want to do more and to want to be able to say, hey, look, everybody pack a bag. And I mean, now that involves not only my children, but who my children involved with. Because, hey, my wife, for instance, her first time going to Disney World was after Katrina, when I brought my kids to Disney World. I grew up doing that shit. So it's like, and I mean, that shit is a whole lot way more expensive now, but there are ways to still do family things and get out there, I mean, like we love to cruise. It's cheap. You fucking pay a ticket and you don't have to worry about buying food and all that kind of shit. So, but at the same time, I just try to, I'm not going to say try. I'm trying to, like, another part of it is I don't like the gym. I hate my muscles to hurt, but I go get in the pool and do water aerobics every morning that I could get in there. And now I'm down 47 pounds. I'm 3 pounds and I've been lost 50 pounds since November.
Hey, man.
That alone is like a push. You know what I'm saying?
No, you got to give him the ew.
He did. He was
ew. But Kimar's so big. Kimar is a new father. He's a dad. He's a girl dad.
Okay.
His daughter's 6 weeks.
Okay.
And so I told him, I said, look, he hates holding small babies, but he sent me a picture while I was on tour. Who's laying next to him? Our grandbaby.
Well, listen, I mean, you talk about I was a father at 22, 23, something like that. So for me, the baby had to be bigger than I always relate shit to food. Had to be bigger than a 5-pound bag of grits. I mean, that's how I always use stuff because I work in a restaurant. But I mean, also too, it's that thing of everything have its time and its place. I look at that phase of life now. It is like, we have different roles that we have to play as men. The first role you have to play as the role of especially when you have a baby involved. You have to allow a mother to be a mother because postpartum, all that shit play a role in it. But at the same time, you have to support that mother while going through it. It's like there's a dynamic with how people usually want you to move a certain way, or they want you to do what they want you to do, or how they want you to do. And I mean, I've always used the thing for me was I'm gonna do what I want to do, and if I'm gonna fail doing it, then I'm gonna fail and do it. But I don't want nobody to help me do shit.
Yeah.
You know, and I think some of that is that stubborn goat Capricorn kind of vibe, because I'll stay home and don't go nowhere and just be here. You know, and look, to me that's spending money. Every time that car crank up, it's like you spending money. So
Man, what?
you know. So, but like I said, that's for me. But I also know too, is one of the things we have to do.
And you love your wife, and she's amazing.
I mean, 22 years don't tell you that I don't love my wife. I mean, listen,
I'm a whole Leo around this piece. Y'all know.
So and it's like, listen,
it.
Simba, who could argue with Simba? I just, do what you're doing. It don't matter to me. I'm not gonna argue with you.
I'm a lion all day, lioness, lion, all them.
There you go.
But this my husband John, y'all. All right,
everybody.
Giving it
for sure, John. For sure. So look, I jump back in and finish mine. Like my most recent aha moment was when I told people the truth, and then the motherfuckers fired me.
That part.
Yeah. And I don't think I've ever shared this like in a podcast space. I done talked to Mac and Tron looking like I ain't talked to him about it. So I think I talked to Tanya about it, but and it is very, very timely for Jackson to walk in, and it's 10:35 and he's supposed to be asleep, right? That joker eyes like he ain't been asleep at all. So when Jackson was born, I took paternity leave as a right, working for an organization in DC, created the program, created the curriculum, did all the outreach, did all of these things. And it was based on the work that Mac and I were doing in Jackson and surrounding areas. And a year goes by, and I have this conversation, this quote unquote team building conversation. And I said, if the plan that we put in place isn't going to come full circle, meaning that we set goals, let's get to these goals. If I don't have a staff and I can't go to my boys' baseball games or their soccer games or whatever, because at Jackson had just had open heart surgery. So I come from paternity leave. I go, matter of fact, hung out with Kenosha. Kenosha's viewing right now. Flex Graphics. For those of that, don't know the two names. In Dallas, hung out with Kenosha, had this team building activity, and then I share my truth. And by the time I got home from Dallas, I got a phone call. It was HR. It said, we're going to have to let you go. And they said it was because of performance. And I'm like, well, in my mind, I'm like, what the performance, what are you basing it on? Like, you have no previous year to compare to. Like, we just getting to a year. So I in that moment, I felt like all the calm. And I think this is what Kenosha's pointing to now. It was like, you know what? It's cool. And then immediately after that, the pandemic hit. And that's what Mac was alluding to. And then you have the growth of Black with No Chaser. You had the growth of I Got It Made. You got the growth of Mississippi Move. You got the growth of The Village. And I'm saying the growth, I'm not saying that we've been balling out and we'd have made millions of dollars and all of that. But if it had not been for me being able to say truthfully, if we don't do this, I don't see myself here next year. And they like, you know what? All right, well, shit, nigga, gone. Basically, that was literally what happened. And they gave me, what they call a severance package. And then I was like, you know what? Let's make this t-shirt thing go. I called CJ, I called Bart, I called Tyson. I called everybody that I knew in the political arena. I said, what campaigns we doing? I think we did the Bloomberg campaign. I cut my teeth on cutting turf. We learned skills that we did not know that we could do. We did all the project management, all the organizing, and then all of us started to work better together. We learned each other a bit more.
And you educated while you were doing that.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And that I would say that is the biggest aha moment. But to point to, Kenosha's comment about being accountable for your own time. To make sure that if you don't go and get it, somebody else gonna go and get it, man. There's a comment floating around, and we're gonna wrap this up because we're gonna continue this conversation. And I wanted to throw that up on the screen while we're wrapping up.
My so sweet final women comment?
No. We're talking about the men's conference, which is sponsored by the Black Men's Health Equity Council in conjunction with the Institute for the Advancement of Minority Health. But if
Griggs, I know Micah.
You know Mike.
We taught together.
Yeah.
Micah came here in New Orleans and taught.
Well, so look at that. We had, and these are the session presenters. There are keynotes that aren't even listed on this. So the council is looking at really pushing out the session presenters because that's where they see the most growth happening. But to wrap with this comment here, God gives us ideas. God gives us visions. The thing is, if you don't act on that vision and it come out 6 months later, the world needed exactly what that vision was. God gave it to you, but God's like, look, my people need this. So I've been one of those people that didn't act on that vision or didn't capitalize on it. I didn't manage my time and I didn't put the things in place to make sure that those things that God gave me, and I wasn't accountable to those blessings that he had given me, right? What are we supposed to do? When he give it to us, you got to put it out. However it looked. And I think that's what Kemar's mentor was trying to get to him is like, that book might not have been perfect for you, but it was perfect for somebody. So get out your own goddamn way, Chuck. Right on to the real, to the fakers. And Matt, like you got a comment.
Drop that Sunday flyer too. There go to brother Pastor.
Gotcha. Mac, you just threw me off with the Sunday flyer. Oh, what we doing Sunday? All right, I got you. Now do a wrap up, go around the horn while I get the Sunday flyer pulled up, and make sure you talk about the goal of all of what we have Sunday and how it connects to Saturday.
So Sunday we have the Brotherhood Brunch. The Brotherhood Brunch actually kicked off last year during Founders Week, where Tron the Connect jumped out with a brunch at the Village Kitchen. And we did a Brotherhood Brunch that started before that, where the guys got together over some pancakes, waffles, and a little bit of orange juice in their jack, and we had some conversation, right? So this also piggybacks on what's going on this weekend. It's a more detailed conversation, a more intimate conversation, just with a small group of guys, and it's going to take place again back at the Village Kitchen this Sunday at 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. We have 25 slots. You can RSVP for the 25 slots, and we are covering the meal, and we're going to be talking about Black Male Reproductive Health Project. And it's going to be an in-depth conversation. We're going to talk about some things. We're going to talk about some of the things that the world or the folks are asking and want to know more about Black men, and also we want to get your feedback on what you think this means to you. So that's taking place this Sunday, but this whole weekend, we're dealing with brothers, right? From Thursday, from the Broomfield House to Friday Night Hoops on Friday, to Saturday conference, and then Sunday with the brunch. So we're working on ourselves all week.
Man, that's what's up, man. And it's
can I jump in right quick? I'm gonna sponsor 2 tickets for the brunch. So I'll send you the money. Anybody you want to bless with it, I'm gonna sponsor two tickets to the brunch. Y'all bless a brother who possibly didn't have the funds, or somebody who's been running from the love and support they need. So I'll send that over to you tomorrow.
Look, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. And Tron is gonna help us get to here.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. We trying to get to it.
We're trying to get to where the money reside, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your additional reminder this weekend, the men's conference, men under constructions. You got Jarvis Jones, Kemar Kane, Benny Foster, Mac Elks, Michael Briggs, Antron McKay, Markel Pittman. We've got keynote speakers going all day. We got the recessions going all day. It's going to be a beautiful display of brotherhood. But then we're going to keep it going with the Brothers and Breakfast. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Nightcap Knowledge. We'll see you next week. Tune in, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m.
I let you.